is a little late this morning, but sometimes life happens. It's this edition of the Ben Garcia Show, and we have a lot of things to talk about. Is Devin Booker officially overpaid? Or is it exactly what the Phoenix Suns should have done? As well as, what about Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals? I saw a list released last week talking about the top 10 players on the Cardinals offense. Let's talk about it all next.
The Ben Garcia Show. Yeah. Best show in the land. Yup. Listen. Come and get your information from Ben Garcia. Get the latest on your quarterback, running backs, and receivers. Tune in, so any other show you don't need him. Any news that he giving out, please just believe him. Giving out the latest prediction and top-notch analysis. Wanna hear the truth? Better have thick skin like callus. The latest move that your team just made can be damaging. The dudes ain't speaking no facts, they just be rambling. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show. Go get the cameraman. Yeah. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show. Go get the cameraman. The Ben Garcia Show.
What is up, guys? Welcome into yet another edition of the Ben Garcia Show. There is a lot of things to get into. Breaking news in the NBA just a second ago as we see a trade go down. Obviously, nothing to happen with the Phoenix Suns, but still major news. The NBA does not sleep. NBA Summer League is this week. Cannot wait. I think I have a surprise for you guys previewing that that version of the Phoenix Suns, their Summer League team. However, we'll see if that is going to be able to come to fruition over the next couple of days. It's not exactly that easy to make those kinds of things work. All right, guys, a lot of things to get into on today's Ben Garcia Show. Follow me on all social media platforms. Do me a favor, like, share, subscribe to this channel right here. As you guys can tell, we're a little bit of an upgrade. New camera, new microphone. This happens because of your continued support of the show. The other day, I was at Einstein Bagels, and my guy Jackson goes, "Are you Ben Garcia? I've noticed your work for the Ben Garcia Show." That was really cool, and that has happened more recently. And my guy covered my tab at Einstein's. Granted, it was just one bagel. I wasn't going to run up the tab on the guy, but it was really cool to be able to meet you guys out in public and continuously finding supporters of the Ben Garcia Show. So do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, and follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. If you see me out in public, say hello. Let's chop it up. Let's talk. Even if my wife is with me, she can wait. These are supporters of the Ben Garcia Show. With all that being said, let's start here. So I saw this the other day on X. You know, I actually really hate it when people are like, X/Twitter, whatever the people are calling it. I'm like, it's just Twitter to me. But X, Twitter. The other day, there was a topic of discussion that I have to give credit to. PHNX Sports and PHNX Cardinals, my guys, Johnny Venerable and Bo Brock, did a list of the top 10 players on the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I can't remember exactly if that was a list in terms of the top 10 Cardinals on just the offensive side of the ball or the entirety of the team. If I'm not mistaken, it was just the offensive side of the ball. And there was a little bit of worry there from me. Yes, this was the top 10 players on both sides of the ball. So all put together in one. And their list was Trey McBride, Budda Baker, James Conner, Kyler Murray, Garrett Williams, Paris Johnson Jr., Josh Sweat, Marvin Harrison Jr., Yoda Froholt, Calais Campbell. That was their list of the top 10 Arizona Cardinals right now on the offense and the defensive side of the ball. I can't say I disagree with them too much on this list. But when you put it like this, that Kyler Murray is the fourth best player on the Arizona Cardinals, maybe I disagree a little bit. It's a little worrisome to me. So although those guys have him at the fourth best player, that's probably not where I would put Kyler. I'd throw Trey McBride, Budda Baker, James Conner. I'd probably put Garrett Williams and Paris Johnson Jr. ahead of Kyler Murray. If we're talking about how good they are at their positional job, those guys, Paris Johnson Jr. is a highly skilled left tackle. Garrett Williams, I think, is the best slot corner in the NFL. It's not fair to put Kyler over those guys, but I'm not really interested in that per se. Let's talk about the offensive side of the ball. If you're ranking the top players on the offensive side of the ball, this is how I think it goes. If you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down the list, where does Kyler Murray fit there? And I think it's a really fun exercise to do if you're an Arizona Cardinals fan, because then you can line it up towards, oh man, is Kyler even one of the better quarterbacks in the NFC? And you look at the list and you would say, number 1 on the list, Trey McBride. I don't think it's necessarily close. Number 2, I'd say James Conner is just a better at his position than Kyler Murray. Paris Johnson Jr., I would say, is ahead of Kyler. He is a better left tackle than Kyler is quarterback. And that is the question. Is that player better at their position than Kyler Murray is at his position? That's all you can kind of rank it up to be. And those guys are. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Yelda Froholt, Marvin Harrison Jr., James Conner. I would throw Yelda Froholt at the 4th overall spot on the Arizona Cardinals offense. And now here's where it gets interesting. Where does Marv go? Where does Kyler go? I think if you're talking about the top 10 players on just offense alone, Kyler Murray is the 5th best player on the Cardinals offense behind Trey McBride, James Conner, Paris Johnson Jr., Yelda Froholt. Because all of those players are better at their positions than Kyler Murray is at his. This is not better total overall players. This is, what do you do for the team? And these players all contribute more than Kyler Murray has consistently. And that can be a little bit worrisome because this isn't the Philadelphia Eagles offense where, yeah, Jalen Hurts is like the 4th or 5th best player on that offense. But you have to remember, Devonta Smith, Saquon Barkley, Dallas Goedert, A.J. Brown, Lane Johnson, and multiple other offensive linemen who are really good. Cam Jurgens, another guy's name who I cannot Jordan Mailata is on that offensive line too. Like, all of those guys, you can make an argument, are better than Jalen Hurts. However, that team is a Pro Bowl level team. That is an insane roster. Kyler Murray can be the 5th best player offensively on the Arizona Cardinals on that team and still win a Super Bowl. On this team, yeah, I think James Conner's good. I think Trey McBride's good. I think Paris Johnson Jr. is very good. Yelda Froholt. But when you're talking about stacking this roster up against other teams, it just doesn't compare. So although Kyler right now is probably the 5th best player on the offense, you could make an argument he's 4th. I would listen to you if you said he was better than Yelda Froholt. However, there's no argument really right now that he's better than Trey McBride, James Conner, Paris Johnson Jr. offensively. So where does Kyler have to be? On this offense, he has to be the 2nd best player on this team for them to have a real chance to make a dent in the playoffs. I still think because of their schedule, they could make the playoffs, but you're looking for that playoff win. Kyler has to be the 2nd best player on this offense if you want this team to succeed. No if, no ands, no buts are about it. No buts about it, I guess I should have said. Kyler has to be better this year. And we've continued to beat that drum constantly. But offensively, if we're talking about on the whole team, he's 6th, 7th best player, that's fine. I'm not worried about defensively. But this offense has talent. But it's not that talented to where Kyler should be overshadowed. If we want to see the Cardinals have a chance to make a dent in the playoffs, and just getting to the playoffs isn't good enough, Kyler has to win a playoff game, or we're talking about year 7 going into year 8 where he hasn't won a playoff game yet. It's not good enough. And when you're talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. behind the rest of these guys, Kyler needs a true number 1, so Marvin's got to step up too. If we're talking about a team that is going to try to make a splash this year in the playoffs, we're talking about a team that is led by Kyler Murray, not 6th, 5th on the list offensively. You can do that if you're Jalen Hurts. You can do that if you're Jared Goff. Those teams are loaded. Those are absolute Pro Bowler teams. Cardinals don't have that. It's why we continue to beat the drum that everything rides on the shoulders of Kyler Murray this year. He has to be the second or third best player on a pretty good offense. Look at some of the other quarterbacks just in the NFC. How many of those teams don't have a top 3 quarterback if you ranked their players offensively? I ultimately think if you're going to be that team, like Jordan Love, pretty good quarterback. Matt Stafford, pretty good quarterback. Jared Goff isn't in that list, but it doesn't really matter. Jaden Daniels, you'd probably list him as the best player offensively on their team. And look at the other side of the bracket. Look at the AFC. Where do Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, where do those guys all come into play? Josh Allen. If you want to have a quarterback that is a difference maker, he can't be behind 4 other guys offensively in the rankings. And just so we're clear, I believe Kyler can do that. I do think Kyler can move his way up in the pecking order all the way to the first best quarterback, or all the way to being the first best player on this team. I guess I should say all the way being the best player on this team, ranking all the positions. I do believe he has the ability to do that. He just has to make it happen. And at the end of the day, it comes all the way back to consistency. But I'll tell you this. If Kyler is the 4th, 5th, God forbid, 6th best player offensively on his own team, this team's not sniffing the playoffs. This team's not making the playoffs. This team's not anywhere near a contender. And then you have bigger problems. You're talking about at the end of the year, not cosmetics and fixing a couple of things so that next year you can take that next step. You're talking about, do I have the right guy? And then you start going down the Max Hall, John Skelton, Ryan Lindley hole. So it was eye-opening when I saw this on PHNX Cardinals. I was like, man, I don't necessarily think they're wrong. And if that's the case, then very worrisome that the Arizona Cardinals are a true threat in the playoffs. And I know it's wishful thinking already to think they would be, but there's no chance it would happen if Kyler Murray isn't a elite level player on his own offense. Okay. Appreciate you guys continuing to stick on through. We got a lot of other things to talk about. We got to jump over to the Phoenix Suns this morning. So I was going to talk some Bradley Beal, but I did a full 35-minute video with my guy John Voida on Saturday talking about all the different avenues where Bradley Beal could go, his buyout, his wave and stretch, all those things. You could check that out on my channel still. It's up. It did really well. He explained the wave and stretch versus buyout and stretch very clearly, and we'll talk about that a little on today's show. But what's overshadowing it, at least for today, because we believe Bradley Beal is going to get bought out today, so we can talk about the options tomorrow. However, Devin Booker inked a 2-year, $150 million extension yesterday. And it continues to beg the question of, is Devin Booker overpaid? And what's interesting about that is you can tell pretty quickly what people just want to complain and what people understand basketball. You know, I thought it was put really clearly to my guy Joe Borgay of PHNX Suns. He put in quotes, Devin Booker making $75 million, question mark, end quote. Yeah, once again, I am begging people to understand NBA contract figures as percentages of the cap rather than the raw amount. It's the easiest way to tell if you don't know what you're talking about. And that's exactly how I feel. The Phoenix Suns have to extend Devin Booker. It was a no-brainer to extend Devin Booker. Yeah, I get it. In hindsight, does Devin Booker deserve to make $75 million a year? And the answer to that question is absolutely. Here, let's just talk about it like this. I love making this argument with other Suns fans when it comes to stars, superstars, Devin Booker, Kyler Murray, Corbin Carroll with the Arizona Diamondbacks, if they could ever figure out their issues. But very plainly this, you want to move on from Devin Booker, or maybe even more clearly, you don't want to pay Devin Booker, which means you want to move on from Devin Booker. Okay, that sounds good. Then what? Oh, you want to trade Devin Booker for, let's just call it a haul, right? 5 first-round picks and 2 players. Pick swaps, everything, right? Okay. So you want to give Devin Booker to a team that is likely going to be good. So you want to have a bunch of late first-round picks. You'll never exercise those pick swaps because those teams will be better than you. And 2 players who might be helpful, but we don't really know. You want to leave your chance of getting the next Devin Booker to ping pong balls. We spent 10 years trying to find Devin Booker. We were wandering through the desert. We were on our hands and knees trying to figure out when Devin Booker was going to be a part of the Phoenix Suns. Or if we can find a Devin Booker to be a part of the Phoenix Suns. My guy, Ivan in the chat saying, we're all overpaid. Glad he's staying. He's right. We all are overpaid. Even what I make for this show, overpaid. But at the end of the day, what are you supposed to do? You want to move on from Devin Booker, then what? You want to get a bunch of picks, leave it at the ping pong balls, and pray you find the next Devin Booker? That's the idea? Not to mention, Booker is still in his prime. He's 28 years old. His prime is probably another 3 more years. Like the height of what he will be as a basketball player. And he's never left you, despite all the turbulence with the Robert Sarver front office and now a Matt Ishbia front office. And you want to punish him for always being a good soldier, never requesting out. He's the only player from the 2015 draft, from his draft class, that is still on the current team that drafted him. Miles Turner was the last one. Devin Booker is now past Miles Turner. Never been drama, never in trouble with the law, never asked out, has been an MVP candidate in multiple seasons, has been an all-NBA player. And your first thought is, let's get rid of that guy? Okay, fine. Devin Booker's a little overpaid. Like, let's just say he's a little overpaid. Maybe wildly overpaid. Next year, if Devin Booker has the same season he had this year, which was, if I'm not mistaken, 25, 5-5. Let me just pull it up just so I can be exact. Devin Booker, 25, 4-7. So it's actually better than what I had set out there. Let's say Booker is 25, 4 rebounds. So 25 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists a game on 46, 33, 89 shooting. Let's say he does that exact thing next year, which we all think are going to get a little bit better because he's going to be the number 1 option again. Do you still not get the same haul that you would have gotten before this extension? Okay, so why would you do that? Because next year, if you trade him and you don't give him an extension, he has 2 years left on his deal, if I'm not mistaken, which makes him less valuable. But if you trade him with this extension, he's got 4 years left on his deal. Makes him more valuable because the other team knows whoever comes here has to keep him, or has to knows that he will be there. I guess I should say. It's nonsense, guys. It's nonsensical to not pay Devin Booker at this point in his career. It would be malpractice. You spent 10 years trying to find Devin Booker. You finally have him. And then 7-8 years later, you're like, I don't really know. I don't really know if he's the right guy. It's actually 10 years later. 10 years later, you're like, yeah, I'm not sure. Just because Devin Booker is not a 1 on a championship winning team doesn't mean he's not incredibly deserving of the payday that's coming his way. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are making nearly the same amount of dollars. I think at one extent, they're going to be making like $60+ million a year. At that point, we're talking about a couple of $1 million, even $10 million. Does anyone think Jaylen Brown is significantly better than Devin Booker? I'd argue Booker's a little bit better. I'm not interested in going 10 years again looking for the next Devin Booker. 33% of the cap, 34% of the cap to give to your franchise player who's never in trouble, never asked to be gone, and is a good soldier. Yeah, I'm going to keep him here. Not to mention next year, if you do have to trade Devin Booker, you can still do so. It's not exactly impossible. And you'll get more for him because of his contract. So anyone that tries to tell you that it's malpractice or he doesn't deserve it, look around the league. Jakob Poeltl just got $104 million. Jakob Poeltl's like in the third of, we're talking about the NBA in a third. He's in the bottom third of big men in the NBA. And he got $104 million. This is the NBA. It's all funny money. Everyone is getting paid. Everyone is making ridiculous amounts of money. Jalen Green is making triple figures. Anyone think Jalen Green's never made an all-star game? So Jalen Green, I typed in stats. I need his contract. So Jalen Green's contract, 3 years, $106 million. Jalen Green is making 33, give or take, $1 million a year. Never made an all-star game. If you want to start complaining about players being overpaid, can you start with the ones who really haven't done anything? Devin Booker's an all-star player. He's a all-NBA caliber player. He has led a team to the finals before, although he lost because Giannis Antetokounmpo was the better player. You pay this guy what he's due. Not just for his play on the court, but off the court as well. And it's not like he's falling off of a cliff. 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. All those years are going to be his prime. And if you're rooting to not pay him, you're just rooting for ping pong balls. And you're praying the Suns can find another Devin Booker. Not to mention, they don't have their own picks. Wait, that you want to tank and pray that a team that has Devin Booker on it is a lottery team? Probably not going to happen. So, it's buffoonery. You want to move on from Devin Booker, then what? All right, guys. Do me a favor, hit the like, share, subscribe button. I am here every day at 7 a.m. breaking down all things Arizona sports. I will be here tomorrow as well. Got to cut things off a little bit short. Yesterday I had a blowout on the freeway with my wife. Changed the tire because, I'm a man. Know how to change a tire. Know how to get down and dirty. So I got to get over to Discount Tire, get my tires fixed. But appreciate you guys making me a part of your day. Appreciate you guys continuously showing support to the channel. Thank you so much for continuously all you do because of you guys. New microphone, new camera, new lights. Things look better. I'm not shaking the camera anymore by typing things in. Continue to show support to this channel. Like, share, subscribe, and follow me on all social media platforms. Be a part of the conversation. Tell me why you love me. Tell me why Devin Booker's overpaid. You're allowed to have an opinion just because I have a microphone. Doesn't make mine bigger or more important than yours. So let me know. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show, Instagram, TikTok, X, whatever it is. I'm there at Ben Garcia Show, and follow and like, share, subscribe to the channel. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow.